In this lecture, we are going to discuss 5 topics in current affairs: National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007, 17 plus 1 mechanism, World Bicycle Day, and World Milk Day. Let us start with the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR. Hence onwards, I will pronounce it as NCPCR. NCPCR stands for National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Let me tell you that children, women, and senior citizens are the vulnerable sections of the society. They lies in the end whenever there is a disaster, whenever there is an external aggression against any country, then children, women, and senior citizens are most affected by them. In this lecture, so children are in the vulnerable section of the society, and the pandemic has left a cataclysmic impact on them. So they need immediate attention and care. Realizing this, what happened on May 28, the Supreme Court has directed the center to state welfare measures taken for the children orphaned by the ongoing pandemic. The court has also asked NCPCR and the states to compile data identifying the children, those who are in need of immediate care. On the basis of the order that is given by Supreme Court, what happened? NCPCR has submitted the following data on children in need of immediate care on the basis of an online tracking portal, Bal Swaraj. According to the data, number of children at present who are in immediate need of care and protection in the country is around 10,000 in numbers. Let me tell you, the data includes the children aged between 0 to 17 years of age. These children are those who are orphaned or abandoned during the COVID-19 pandemic since March 2020. These children are at risk as they may be pushed into human trafficking and flesh trade. Let us now talk about the Commission, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. The Commission was established in March 2007 under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. Because it was established by an act of a parliament, so it is a statutory body. So this point is very important, that the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights is a statutory body which is established under the Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. And the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights is working under the administration of the Ministry of Women and Child Development, Government of India. The Commission has a chairperson and 6 members, and the chairman along with the 6 members are appointed by the central government only, and the period for which they are appointed is 3 years. Out of the members, at least 2 should be women, and the maximum age would be 65 years for chairman, whereas it would be 60 years for the members. Now, what is the RT Act 2009? Right to Education Act 2009. Let me tell you that the RT Act 2009 inquires the complaints about violation of the law under the NCPCR, Commission for Protection of Child Rights Act 2005. It also summons an individual and demand evidence, seek a magisterial inquiry, file the writ petitions in the High Court or Supreme Court, also approach the concerned government for the prosecution of the offender. The NCPCR can also recommend interim relief to those affected under the RT Act 2009. So NCPCR has these 6 rights under the RT Act 2009. Now, what is Bal Swaraj Care Portal? Let me tell you that the Bal Swaraj Care Portal is aimed at tracking the children affected by COVID 19 right from the production of the children before the Child Welfare Committee to the restoration of the children to their parent or guardian or any relative and its subsequent follow up. Let us move to our second topic, Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. So why this one is in news? Why this act is in news? This is in news because recently the Karnataka High Court has observed complete failure from the state government side to comply with the legal obligations as per the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. So what it is? According to the act, the government has to provide old age homes, but the government failed to provide old age homes to the senior citizens as per the provisions of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. So Karnataka High Court has recently observed the complete failure from the state government side. Now what the law says, under the section 19 of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007, the state government may establish, here we need to note the word may, okay, because it will be referred later, okay. So the state government, under section 19 of the act, the state government may establish and maintain such number of old age homes at accessible places as it may deem necessary in phased manner, beginning with at least one in each district. Now what the court said? The court said, as per its interpretation, as the High Court interpreted that the word may can be interpreted as shall and vice versa depending upon the factors. So may doesn't mean that that the state government has any excuse regarding this. May can be treated as shall as per the interpretation of the High Court depending upon the factors. Now why these old age homes are needed? These old age homes are needed because a large number of elderly persons at present are not being looked after by their immediate family members. And at present, aging has become one of the major social challenges. And the pandemic has left the senior citizens out of income. Let us now discuss about the Act. According to the Act, the adult children and heirs must provide a monthly allowance for the parents and it's legally enforceable. That means the Act makes it legally enforceable for the children to look after their parents. The Act also provides for a procedure to claim the monthly maintenance for the parents and senior citizens, and it also establishes a procedure which is faster and inexpensive. The Act also defines parents as the biological, adoptive, and step parents. The Act provides for protection of life and property of the elderly persons as well. October 1st is observed as International Day of Older Persons. So this one is also important. Sometimes you may face a question in preliminary examination. October 1st, in order to sensitize the issue, is considered as International Day of Older Persons. Our next topic in this lecture is 17+1 mechanism. Why this 17+1 mechanism is news? It is in news because recently Lithuania has pulled out of the China and Central and Eastern European 17+1 mechanism. Now what is the story behind the pulling out? So first one is that the 17+1 mechanism was supposed to act as Europe's one strong voice. Let me tell you that it is often criticized as biased towards China, towards the Chinese government. And China and Lithuania have also developed a number of issues during these days. Okay, if we will focus on the issues, developing issues between China and Lithuania, then Lithuania's new ties with Taiwan has actually annoyed China. Lithuania parliament's resolution on Uyghur Muslims. Uyghur Muslims, let me tell you that Uyghur Muslims are uh, the Muslims, Turkish speaking Muslims who are living in Xinjiang province of China. They are the Uyghur Muslims, and these Uyghur Muslims are detained and systematically brainwashed in Xinjiang province by China. So what happened recently, Lithuania parliament has brought a resolution on these Uyghur Muslims. So this has annoyed China. Another, in retaliation what happened, China has imposed sanctions on Lithuania and European Union politicians. So these are the issues recently developed between China and Lithuania. Often the mechanism has been criticized as an extension of China's flagship Belt and Road Initiative. So Belt and Road Initiative means that is the revival of the earlier Silk Route, okay, that we will discuss some other day. Okay, you can refer the video in the video below to know more about Belt and Road Initiative. Now what is this 17 plus 1? 17 plus 1 actually was founded in 2012, and the member countries were 12 European Union countries and 5 Balkanian states. Some of the states are Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania and Macedonia. China is recently flexing its muscle in the South China Sea region and in the Indo-Pacific region. China's one country, two system policy has erupted large scale protests in Hong Kong as well. So China is often in news for all these things. So if we will discuss about China's one country, two system policy, then you can understand how China is trying to expand its one country policy, one nation, one China policy in the region, a greater China policy. Let us discuss, let us throw some focus on the China's one country, two system policy. The Hong Kong and Macau special administrative regions can have different economic and political systems from that of mainland China, but they should remain a part of People's Republic of China. So try to understand this thing here, that Hong Kong and Macau, these two are special administrative regions. We will discuss how they become special administrative regions later. But these two are the special administrative regions which have different economic and political systems. Means they can establish their own economic and political system, but they will remain a part of the People's Republic of China. Okay. The policy was originally proposed by Deng Xiaoping in the late 1970s, and the policy, according to the policy, Taiwan could follow its capitalist economic system, run a separate administration, and keep its own army but under Chinese sovereignty. Taiwan actually rejected this offer. Now, what is the history behind this one China, one country, two system policy? Actually, let us start from 1842. In 1842, what happened? The British took control of Hong Kong following the First Opium War. And in 1898, the Second Convention of Beijing, okay. The Second Convention of Peking was signed by the British government and the Qing dynasty of China. As per the convention, the British to take control of the islands surrounding Hong Kong, known as New Territories, for 99 years. In 1898, it was signed. That means it will go up to 1997. And London also promised Peking to return the islands to China after the expiry of the issue of the convention. Now in 1997, what happened? This convention was expired, and in 1997, Macau, that had been ruled by the Portugals from 1557, started withdrawing their troops, and in 1980, China under Deng had initiated talks with both Britain and Portugal for the transfer of Taiwan and Macau. China in return promised to respect their regional autonomy under the one country two system proposal. So here the one country two system proposal, that plan came into play. And finally, on December 19, 1984, the Sino-British Joint Declaration was signed by China and the UK in Beijing. According to that Sino-British Joint Declaration, the terms that were set for the autonomy and the legal, economic and governmental system for Hong Kong after 1997. A similar kind of agreement, a similar kind of declaration was signed on March 26, 1987, but the parties are different. This time, the joint declaration was signed between China and Portugal on the question of Macau. On December 19, 1984, it was on the question of Hong Kong, Taiwan, and on March 26, 1987, on the question of Macau. And a similar kind of promise was made by China that it will grant regional autonomy to Macau, and but Macau should remain under the sovereignty of China. And on 1st July 1997, as the convention expired, Hong Kong was returned to China. And on 20th December 1999, 2 years after this, what happened? Macau was also transferred to China. As both Hong Kong and Macau was transferred to China, they became special administrative regions of China with their own economic and political setup, but they are under the sovereignty of China. What happened? They have their own currencies, economic and legal system, but the defense and diplomacy stayed with Beijing, China. Their mini constitution would remain in force for 50 years, that is till 2047 for Hong Kong and till 2049 for Macau. Now this is the one country two system proposal by China. So this is the reason why large scale protests are being erupted in Hong Kong. Okay, so Hong Kong issue, because why this one China, this one country two system policy we have discussed here, because one point we have discussed under the newly developed issues between China and Lithuania, that Lithuania's new ties with Taiwan. So here comes a link with the topic that Lithuania, as Taiwan rejected the one country two system formula, Lithuania supported Taiwan in this regard, and Lithuania extended its support to Taiwanese. So that was the reason why we discussed the topic China's one country two system policy here. Okay, let us move to our next topic. Our next topic is World Bicycle Day. World Bicycle Day is observed every year on 3rd June by the United Nations. United Nations General Assembly declared the day in April 2018. That means since April 2018, every year World Bicycle Day is being celebrated on 3rd June. What is the main aim of celebrating the World Bicycle Day? The main aim is to encourage member nations to give priority to those of bicycle towards improving road safety and promoting sustainable mobility and transport infrastructure planning and design. The dairy sector supports millions of people in India. In 2001, in order to revitalize the importance of dairy products, what happened? The Food and Agricultural Organization has started observing 1st June as World Milk Day. Since then, every year 1st June has been observed as World Milk Day. Now, what are the aims of observing 1st June as World Milk Day? The aims are to encourage the dairy farmers in the dairy sector and to recognize the importance of milk as a global food. This year in 2021, the theme for World Milk Day is sustainability in the dairy sector with messages around the environment, nutrition and socio-economics. On the occasion of World Milk Day 2021, the eGopala app is going to be integrated with Umang platform. What is this eGopala app? Let me tell you that the eGopala app is a comprehensive breed improvement marketplace and information portal for direct use of farmers. Let us now talk about milk production and India, where India stands in milk production. Dr. Varghese Kuiran started milk production as a revolution in India, and he came to be known as the father of the white revolution in India. During last 6 years, the sector has grown by 35.61%. Let me tell you that the milk production was 198.4 million tons in 2019 and 20. In the same year, the production was up by 5.68% over the same period in the last year. If we will talk about the consumption, then 57% of the total consumption were from rural sector. And India is the largest producer of milk in the world. Largest milk producing states in India are Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh and Punjab. Now, what are the major initiatives taken by the government of India in the dairy sector? The first and the important one is the Rashtriya Gokul Mission, which was launched in December 2014. The cost of the mission was rupees 2025 crore. The main aim of the Rashtriya Gokul Mission was to develop and conserve the indigenous breeds through selective breeding and the genetic upgradation of nondescript bovine population. The scheme has two important components. One is the National Program for Bovine Breeding and the second one is National Mission on Bovine Productivity. The next important step was National Dairy Plan. It is a central sector scheme which was launched in March 2012 and it was implemented by the National Dairy Development Board. Usually it was one of the important dairy development programs launched by the central government. It was implemented during the period 2011-12 to 2018-19. The main objectives of the National Dairy Plan were increasing productivity of milch animals. Milch animals means those animals which give milk. Provide greater access to the organized milk processing sector to the rural milk producers. Next, National Animal Disease Control Program. It was launched in September 2019 and the main aim is to control the foot and mouth disease and brucellosis. And this can be controlled by vaccination. The vaccination will cover 100% buffalo, sheep, goat and pig population for foot and mouth disease and all female calves of 4 to 8 months old for brucellosis. And it will be implemented in 5 years between 2019-20 to 2023-24. Next scheme was Pasu Aadhar. It is a unique ID on a digital platform to trace the animals. Let us now talk about the Food and Agriculture Organization. As we discussed earlier, that Food and Agricultural Organization in 2001 initiated the World Milk Day. Now, what this Food and Agricultural Organization is? This was established by the United Nations in 1945, which is a neutral intergovernmental organization. FAO is a specialized UN agency to defeat hunger. It provides information and support for sustainable agriculture through legislation and national strategies. And the Food and Agricultural Organization aims for food security for all. Let us now discuss what Operation Flood is. Operation Flood was the biggest dairy development program in the world, and it gave a major thrust to milk production in India. Operation Flood is also known as White Revolution, and Dr. Varghese Kuiran is considered as the father of White Revolution, who launched Operation Flood in 1970. The main aim of launching Operation Flood is to increase milk production, a flood of milk.